Hey, what's up, everybody? Eric here, and welcome to our stream tonight. Oh, I didn't mean for that to happen. Welcome to our stream tonight. This is going to be my discussion and review for Secret Invasion Season 1, Episode 1. I'll be doing these live every single Wednesday for the duration of the season. And if you would like to join us live, you can do so at 11 o'clock New York time, East Coast time here in the United States, where it'll be myself and sometimes special guests. It's just me tonight, but we may have special guests in the future as we talk about these. There are going to be spoilers, so make sure you are caught up with the episode if you're going to be joining us. We have a bunch of people in the house tonight. I'll do shout outs in just a little bit. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about this episode and what I thought of Secret Invasion starting out, because I know a lot of people have had some different opinions about it. There's also a little bit of controversy. We're going to talk about some of that at the end of this. So if you want to hear about that and you're watching this on playback, stick around for that. It'll be at the end of the review when we get there. These are going to be around 30 minutes ish. So if you want to sit through the whole 30 minutes, feel free to do so. The review will be contained to the first 10 minutes or so of the stream, and then we'll be doing Q&A and any other drama or topics that may possibly occur. All right, everyone, welcome. Let's go ahead and pull up a picture here where we talk about it, so you'll know that we're getting ready to jump into this. Okay, so Secret Invasion. I was really excited about this series, and I honestly wasn't sure what to expect from it, because I really love the Winter Soldier, the espionage, everything from that era of the MCU is sort of my favorite stuff. Like, I love the cosmic stuff. I'm happy with where we are now. But looking back at those early phases, it really was like this shield espionage type things that's going on. And so when I heard this series was going to be pulling from that era and those concepts, I was like, okay, all right, yeah, sounds cool. I'm going to give it a shot. I love Nick Fury. I loved a lot of the characters that were supposed to be in the series, although we didn't know if they were going to be the actual characters or if they were going to be Skrulls. That's sort of the whole mystery. And therefore, I went into this with a lot of anticipation. Like I said, we will address the controversy of the intro and some comments made about the series at the end of the review. But let's go ahead and just jump into it. So in this episode, we start out with Everett Ross and Prescott and sort of establishing this concept of you can't trust anybody. We have Ross talking to Prescott, who believes that there's a conspiracy that the Skrulls, who we have previously known to be friends of S.H.I.E.L.D., friends of Nick Fury, enemies of the Kree, because they were just trying to find a new home, we'd seen them being portrayed as refugees. And it's a little bit like coming into this, like, okay, how are we going to do Secret Invasion with the Skrulls being, kind of out for the worst possible things when they were shown as refugees? And I like the way they established it. They established it because they set it up like they're these Skrulls who don't really want to follow the path of the older Skrulls. It's kind of a younger generation where they really want to sort of create discourse on Earth and maybe establish Earth as their own new home planet. And of course, Ross is telling this guy Prescott, like, this is ridiculous. Like, we know better. But Prescott attacks Ross, and we're not sure who we're rooting for here. Who is the Skrull? Which or one of these two the Skrulls? We don't know. We have no idea at this point. But they're fighting, and there's a struggle after Prescott basically says, if I'm going to contact Fury, it has to be for a reason. And Prescott is, I believe, killed in this battle. I'm trying to think back to the episode. I don't think we ever go back to that character. So I think that character is killed in this moment. Maybe we'll find out later that they're not. But then Ross is on the run. And as he is running and trying to escape at this point, we see him fall off the building. And then we see a figure come out and kill Everett Ross. And we're like, oh, what is going on here? And it is Talos. Talos. I'm pronouncing it wrong all this time. I think it's Talos. but I've been saying Talos since the introduction in Captain Marvel. So I've been saying it wrong, I guess, the whole time. Not sure. So then we have this idea that you can't trust anybody. That's pretty much what we're getting at here, is that you don't know who to trust. Everybody's a possible Skrull at this point. And yeah. So then we see Fury getting beamed down to Earth from Saber, which we find out that's where he is. And he gets picked up and goes to meet Talos. And then we get the reveal at some point in this that Talos's mate Soren is dead. They discuss Fury's absence and the disappearance of his daughter, Gia. So Gia is missing, MIA, and we get kind of set up in this world where that anybody in the government could be a Skrull. Really, that's pretty much where we're at. Then we also find out that Gravik is revealed to be the leader of a rebellion amongst young Skrulls using abandoned nuclear plants in Russia as bases. And Hill informs Fury that Prescott found schematics for a dirty bomb, which the Skrulls plan to use to provoke war. And this is kind of where we set up this issue that everything that's been going on is actually being done by the Skrulls. And I like this, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, are we supposed to just assume that every single, uprising during this time was Skrull initiated? I'm not sure if that's what they're implying in the series, but that's kind of what it's setting up. So I guess we'll find out at some point throughout the season whether or not they're responsible for all of them or just some of them, because that's kind of that's part of the mystery, I guess. And Fury decides he's going to take a walk in Moscow and gets captured by these people in a van, and then meets an MI6 agent, Sonya Falsworth. And while he's there talking with her, he plants a camera on an owl statuette during their conversation to spy on her, which I believe was his plan the entire time. I feel like this was Fury's plan the entire time when he went out there. I don't think he ever does anything without some sort of idea that this is what he's going to do. I like Sonya. I think she's going to be a great character. And I honestly can't wait to see more from her and what they actually end up doing with her throughout the series, because I think she's going to be quite an interesting character all along. And then we have this Skrull, Beto, I think was his name. I didn't write that down. But Gia meets him at the gate, introduces him to New Skrullos, which is an abandoned nuclear plant housing, I think, over 500 Skrulls, I believe. And then we have this other Skrull, Pagan, I think, who inducts Brogan as a Skrull warrior. And we have a shadowy figure watching from above. And this is our introduction to this world where the Skrulls have created sort of their own encampments, where they can actually, I don't know, sort of grow their own foods and live like they would on their, on their home planet. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Honestly, this reminds me a lot of like the New Asgard settlement. But I don't know why New Asgard is okay, but New Skrullos would not be okay. I'm trying to figure out why, what's the reason why there's a problem there. I'm not sure if it's because the Skrulls did something to piss off S.H.I.E.L.D. or to piss off the government, and that's why they can't do it, or what the issue is, because New Asgard seems to be celebrated as like a tourist attraction, but the Skrulls are having to basically build a society in abandoned nuclear power plants, which I'm like, were they, like I thought they were, I don't know. I'm not totally understanding. I guess we'll have to watch more and find out why they decide to do that. Because, it's a little bit confusing there. Then we have Fury, Talos, and Hill discover that Sonya has identified the bomb builder and plan to incapacitate MI6 agents. And Gravik dismisses Fury's presence on Earth and continues with their plan to take over. Gia retrieves the bombs from Poprishkichin. I hope I got that right. While Fury and Talos confront and fight a Skrull imposter. Hill follows Gia underground, but Gia escapes and later breakdowns in tears. Obviously, because of everything that's happening. Then we have Fury going into a bar where he has a conversation with Hill about his abandonment of Earth, and he explains why he did it, why he was at Saber, and we sort of start to get the little seeds planted about like whether or not we can trust Fury. Because why not? I mean, that's kind of what the whole series is. So that's kind of where we are with that. Fury reflects on his experience with the snap and his own personal crisis of faith. Gia delivers the bombs to Pagan, who believes everything is going according to plan. However, after talking with Talos, she shares the time and location of the attack with him, revealing Gravik's plans and hidden operatives. Now, during the attack, Talos and Hill chase the couriers, while Fury allows a shifting scroll leading him away from everything. And then Gravik, disguised as Fury at a certain point, detonates the real bombs, causing chaos. And Gravik shoots Maria Hill, who dies in Fury's arms, and Talos pulls away from the scene. And that's kind of where we actually end the episode, or my notes. And I'm guessing Maria Hill is gone. I mean, that's a little wild, right? Maria Hill just out of here. One episode. And I think in some interviews she was talking, or the actress who plays her was saying that there was like a very layered story about her. So I'm wondering if she is going to come back as a Skrull later. Like, are we going to see a Skrull version of her interacting with the government? Because I'm not really sure if, like, I don't know. One episode? So we lost a fake Ross, but we lost the real Maria Hill because we saw that Skrulls turn back or revert to their normal form when they're killed. So unless Maria is a Skrull that didn't revert back completely, she could be a Skrull, but we lost her. She's gone. That's wild to me. Absolutely wild that that's where we are with this. Look, I enjoyed this first episode. I watched it with some friends. We had a really good time with the series. I think it's a very good spy espionage type series. I don't expect it to be very superhero heavy. Everything I've read and seen so far, this is kind of the vibe they're going for. And I actually really enjoyed it. And I'm kind of sad there's so much controversy going on around the show because I think the show itself is actually a really solid series. So I'm happy about that. So I'm going to give this first episode, I'm going to say it's like an 8 out of 10 for me. I think the episode is like an 8 out of 10 for me. I think they can still do a lot better, but I really, really like this first episode. I didn't really turn away from the TV much at all while I was watching it. So I was kind of happy with it. I thought it was really solid. So not much negative to say about it in terms of the show itself. So I'm going to say like an 8-ish for me for right now. But we're going to see how that goes. So if you're watching this on playback, this is the end of the review portion. So make sure you go down in the comments below and let me know what you would have rated Secret Invasion. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you indifferent? Are you not watching it? Let me know all of that in the comments below. And if you want to stick around, we're going to talk about some controversy and answer some comments in the chat. So here we go. All right, everyone. Let's head over to the chat. We got a couple super chats here. Let's go ahead and do this. Daddy Hates the Metal with the $2 super chat. Taylor's actor was great in Bloodline Netflix show. Yes, that was a really good show. If you have Netflix, I hope it's still on Netflix. Netflix hasn't like taken anything off their platform, have they? It's a really, really, really good show. I liked Bloodline. Definitely check it out. He was fantastic on that. Thank you for the super chat. Also another $5 super chat from Daddy Hates the Metal. Will you be doing this for Loki season 2 as well? I like these streams. This is also the multiverse saga, so we can get another Maria Hill in 2 years. Yes, moving forward is at least for everything that's coming out beyond now. I will be doing a live stream 30-minute like video for reviews instead of uploading regular reviews. I'll include my normal review in the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then the back half of it will be Q&A with everybody. So that's how I'm reviewing everything moving forward. So if you like it, this is how reviews are going to be. I may eventually chop them out to make them separate videos, but for now, this is what I'm going to be doing for reviews. So hopefully everybody enjoys it. Thank you for the super chat there. Not for Superman and Lois. When Superman and Lois comes back, I'll be going back to normal reviews for Superman and Lois. All right, so let's take a look at Rotten Tomatoes quickly. I just want to see where the score is now for Rotten Tomatoes. So where are we at? 66% critic score and 84% audience score. How many episodes did critics get? Did they get like the first 2? Or is it just the first 1? I think it was the first 2 episodes is what critics saw, unless they saw the whole thing. But I don't remember. It's 2, right? I don't know if 2 was enough. You know what I mean? I don't think, if you guys remember Marvel shows, at least the way I remember them, they start out very heavy, like building into it, and then it takes up until like the last 2 episodes for things to really get going. So I don't know if 2 episodes is enough, but 66% is fine. It's not like new Marvel. This is old school Marvel. This is like phase 2 Marvel. Okay? Just gonna put this out there. This is like a late phase 1, phase 2 type series. It's not like the new stuff. It's not heavy with comedy. It's not heavy with like callbacks and cameos and stuff like that. It is very much like a phase 1 or 2 Marvel series. So yeah, I'm gonna say, like, I understand they're probably looking for something more akin to what Marvel does now. I appreciate it for what it is, so I really enjoyed it. The 84% feels really good for the first episode. So yeah, critics are complaining that it's too grim, but it is though. Like, the one thing I hope Marvel keeps doing, like the one thing I hope that Marvel keeps doing is giving us layers, giving us flavors, giving us texture. That is one thing I really want Marvel to do. Continue to give us different things. Don't make everything the same. You know what I mean? Give us different options. I like that we had like Werewolf by Night. Then we had the Guardians Christmas special. And then we have stuff like, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But then we also have stuff like Quantumania. I like that we get variety so people can just pick what style they want to go see, what tone they really like. So I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I'm fine. Daddy Hates the Metal with a $2 super chat. How many Game of Thrones actors are in the MCU? I don't know. A lot of them. Matter of fact, when I was watching it and I said, that's Daenerys, the people that were watching it with me said, really? That's Daenerys? They didn't even recognize her. That's how good it was. That's how good it was. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to talk about this controversy next. I want to get through this because I have a few opinions about it. Let me pull up an article just so we have a way of letting people know where we're at. All right, Secret Invasion opening credits generated by AI prompting backlash from audiences. Now, if you guys have been watching me for like any amount of time, you'll know that I am very supportive of artists. I always will be, right? I always will be. I will always have arts back, whether it's writing, directing, art, comic books, animation. I totally support artists, and I do think that AI needs some regulation. However, the AI that was used to generate this intro was done specifically to give it sort of that AI, like, you don't know who to trust because it's so uncanny. That is their reason for doing it. That's what they said. Love it or hate it, that was their reason for doing it. However, I would not be surprised if within the next couple of episodes, the intro is changed. I would not be surprised if they change the intro because they don't want backlash on a solid series because of the fact the intro is AI. I would not be surprised if that's completely like something they just replace it with some generic intro with like colors and the Secret Invasion logo with names and stuff on the bottom of it. I would not be surprised at this point. I would not be shocked at all if that's what they do. Cody here with a $5 super chat says, I love that Secret Invasion allows you to live in the universe. Things get to breathe. Yes. Yeah. This is about as street level as you're going to get when it comes to like an alien invasion in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is. It totally is. I do not disagree with you. And I love it for that. I love the show for doing that because I think it's important to offer this kind of a series for people that want something a bit more grounded. It's space, but it's still grounded. I love it. I love that about it. Do they have time to change the intro? If they change the intro, what they're going to do, I'm already calling this, they will use some generic, like, color shifting thing with the actual logo just in the background. The names will all pop up at the bottom of the screen, and that's what they'll do. And they have time because it's going to be really easy. JK says, here's one thing I'm confused. Artists were credited the credits for making this intro. So was it fully AI or partially? We don't know. Even in this article, it's not very obvious to me. So I don't know. Maybe they'll talk more about it. I would not be surprised though if they change it. Just gonna put that out there. Just gonna put that out there. Let me know your thoughts on that, guys. Toe Senior, member for 23 months, says, "Hey Eric, I thought, hey Toe Senior, thank you so much for being here and dropping a message there. We have another super chat here from Robert. $2 super chat. Can we start a scroll pool of who might be one? Yeah. Okay. So before I read this next article, because I have another slight controversial article for this, in the comments, drop who you think is going to be a scroll out of people we know so far who have not been shown as a scroll. Who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think that's going to be? I'm curious to see what you guys think about that. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is right here. This is one that's very controversial as well, and that is the director of Secret Invasion has been dragged all over the internet because of the comments of not reading the source material. That's one of the things that I have heard is like a big problem for a lot of people, is that the source material itself was not read before the series came out. Let's read what he actually said. So Screen Rant says, I love Secret Invasion. I love that it's grounded in espionage side of MCU and adapting the story from the comics to the screen. How did you decide what to pull and what to avoid from the comics? And Ali says, when I took this job as director, I didn't write the script. So a lot of those decisions were made by Kyle Bradstreet and other team of writers that we had. The first thing I was told is don't read the comics. It had nothing to do with what we're trying to do here. The story was really born out of the electricity created between Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn, or Nick Fury and Talos and Captain Marvel. And they said, oh, we got to do something with that. So they found a story that would serve that relationship and would expand the MCU and other characters who are not in the comic books. I think it's a story in itself. So the reason why he wasn't reading the comic is because this is an adaptation of that story that doesn't really follow the path of the comic books. That's it. That's the reason why. It's not like he decided not to read it, because he's like, screw that. I'm not going to read the story. I'm just going to make the series and it's just going to be whatever it's going to be. Like he literally was like, look, I'm going to, we're making a show that just, it isn't the same vibe as the comic book. I think that's okay. I will always tell you, folks, I'm not a 100% comic purist. It does not have to be absolutely exactly like the comics for me, as long as it is a good story, as long as it's a good movie, TV show, whatever, I'm fine with it. Just fine with it. Paigey stopped in. Just finished the episode. No clue whether it was good or not. Think it's going to be one of those shows where you need all the episodes to decide. That's why when I said earlier, Paigey, that having 2 episodes for them to make a decision on, like critics to make a decision on, probably isn't the best way to do it, to be honest. All right. The president. Victor saying the president is going to be a scroll. Jeffrey says Rhodey and the president. Robert says Olivia Colman's character, I think maybe her organization is definitely breached. Cody is saying Rhodey. Cody's saying Rhodey. Abdi's saying Rhodey as well. One Marvel fan is saying the president, maybe. Daddy hates the metal. Thinks Rhodey is. Hero's Journey says the British lady. Rhodey from JK. I'm a scroll. Really? Me? Is that possible? Justin says that Sharon's going to be a scroll. So there we go. We have a super chat over here from Toe Senior. $5 super chat. Hey, Eric, I thought it was going to drop. They were going to drop the entire show all at one time, or 6 or 8 episodes. Did it get changed? That was the Echo series. Both this one and Loki are going to be week to week, but Echo is going to get dropped all at one time. So that's the thing, is that we're going to have to wait for each week for this to build. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I know it's annoying, I think dropping stuff week to week is actually better off for the trendiness of a show. It helps the show stick around a little bit longer. It helps it stay trending on social media a little bit longer. I know it sucks as a viewer, but it gives us something to talk about between episodes. So yeah, it does suck a little bit. Hey, PB&J, how are you? Defunct says adaptation. Exactly. So I'm totally okay with them adapting the story. I don't think it actually matters if you read the comic book when it comes to an adaptation. I think it's absolutely fine to not do that. I think that's great. As long as you're going to do something solid and pay tribute to the actual show or the characters. This is the 5-minute warning. Okay. This is the 5-minute warning. And then I'm going to jump off here. And if you want to chat some more, because there's a lot of drama right now, I'm heading over to Twitch. So I'll be over on Twitch chatting about the drama. There's a couple more stories I want to cover that we'll be talking about over there. So if you're watching this on playback, make sure you join me on Twitch on Wednesday nights after we talk about Secret Invasion. And yeah. All right. So we got something from Anthony here. Do you think we'll see any Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters like Daisy or Coulson in Secret Invasion? I don't know. Let me ask you a question in the chat and down in the comments if you're watching this on playback. What Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. character do you want to see? Or any Marvel character that we haven't seen in a while return for Secret Invasion? Leave it in the comments or in the chat there. We got a $2 super chat from Daddy Hates the Metal. Did people think Norman Osborn would be in this? They did because of the Secret Invasion title. They thought that Secret Invasion would be adapted and that Norman Osborn would show up because it's called Secret Invasion. But I think clearly we know now that's not a thing, that this is going to be a completely different story that just loosely connects to the title Secret Invasion. Because I don't think they have any intention of actually doing like the full-on Secret Invasion from the comics ever. So they decided they're going to go with something a little bit different. So I think that's what happened, honestly. All right, we got another super chat here. Let's see, from Toe Senior. Is Jonathan Majors screwed? Will he be fired? All right, there's a lot to talk about. I've got a story ready to go. We're going to talk about that on Twitch. I know it sucks. We don't have time to talk about it here because we only have 3 minutes left before we end the stream. But I will be talking about it over on Twitch. So if you want to dive into the Jonathan Majors news and updates, we're going to be doing it over there. So join me over there at twitch.tv/Eric Reloaded for Twitch. Jonathan's, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So Victor says Quake. Defunct says Quake. Daisy. There you go. Ghost Rider. I would love Ghost Rider from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., to be honest. Daisy is Quake. Yeah, everybody seems to be coming up with the whole Daisy situation. So the link for Twitch will be on Twitter. If you're following me on Twitter, when I go live on Twitch, it goes to Twitter. But it should be below this video. When this video is over, actually, it might even be in the info box now. Let me double check. Yep, it's already in the info box for this. It's already in the description for this video. So if you want to follow me to Twitch, I'll be live in about, like when we end this, it'll be like 5 or 10 minutes right after that. I'll be live on Twitch. So we can chat over there. So Sean says Daisy, Graviton, Gideon, and Ghost Rider. So you want basically like pretty much all the best characters from the show. And Coulson. Yeah. What are the consequences for Nick leaving Saber Station? I'm wondering if we're going to follow that up. We have a few episodes. We could definitely follow that up. I think that would be really smart for them to do that. That would be a lot of fun. It's there. It's there. I looked. It should be there. People said they didn't see it. I looked. It's published. Unless Twitch blocked it, which I didn't see that it was blocked. So, all right. So that is pretty much it for this stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We'll be doing this every single Wednesday for Secret Invasion, where you can listen to me talk about it for the first 10 or 15 minutes. And then we'll do question and answer and talk about any stories or anything coming up with that. But thank you so much for hanging out. And if you still want to hang out with me some more, and maybe Paige will join us, I'm heading over to Twitch right now. And we should be live I should be live in about 5 to 10 minutes at the latest. So that's it. See you guys in a few. Bye.